Today I'm gonna try to do a lot, be productive. I poked my finger pretty bad, and I'm not sure if there's anything in there that shouldn't be in there, but we'll see. I'm making some tea in my Dolly Parton cup. Can you see that? So cool. I got this at Walmart in like the party section. I don't know if it's still there. They had like a whole bunch of things, so you could have a Dolly Parton party, which of course I was like, that's pretty cool. But I don't need Dolly Parton on a paper plate. Now if they had some reusable plates with Dolly Parton on it, maybe that would have been a different story. But first, let me talk about the title. So I've been wanting certain variegations of yarn since pretty much since the beginning of time at this point, and especially in pride colors. Not just for packers, but if I wanted to do like festival tops or something like that, I thought it was really important to have options like color variations in the pride colors. And a big like impetus for this, I guess, was the fact that Big Twist has their living yarn, and they have a bunch of pride options. And I know the reviews on that are mixed. However, for me, it was important to try to make pride yarn. Now, I don't particularly love working with wool, and also, for me, a lot of the items that I would be making with this yarn would not, they're kind of warm weather options, or they need to be made in cotton or bamboo. Because I've never worked with bamboo, and because it is much pricier, I just had to start with cotton, and so I bought the cheapest cotton I could. So I bought a cone of sugar and cream, peaches and cream, cotton from Walmart. Um, I consulted with like Daniel from Pawply Yarns, which if you don't know Daniel, I don't know what you're doing here. Um, but he didn't recommend using store-bought yarn. However, my only options for undyed cotton um, that weren't store-bought, pre-dye, like, you know, store-bought options would be like a cream color. And because so many pride colors have white in them, I needed to get that white. So a lot of these don't have like a lot of white, but there's like some white in there, and that's definitely something I need to work on. There's definitely like lighter colors. So let me try to pick out the first batches. I think. mm, so my first batch, I really fucked up the color. The colors. I don't know what happened in my brain, but it was just like, nope, you did the colors wrong. So I think these are my first batch. So this is the yarn that I made. Sorry, I'm terrible at like creating a skein, but sorry, I've never really done creating a hank. I've never really done this before. So this is hand dyed. You can see that the pink isn't very prominent because I accidentally put the pink on first, and then I was like, shit, I need to do the blue first. So this one's doesn't have a lot of pink in it, but it does have some pink in there in different places. But yeah, so this is my first attempt. And I just used tie-dye yarn, which was recommended to me. I do think that if I started doing this more consistently, I would probably buy powder dyes, so that because like a tie-dye kit has like a bunch of different colors, but you run out of those particular colors very quickly. So I think I would buy some some dye specifically for that. As you can see, a lot of the color variations lean towards more blue, and the pink didn't really show up that well. So that was my first batch. My second batch, I managed to get the colors in the right order, and you can see a lot more pink in there. There's some darker blues, which I really, really like. But you can see there's definitely more pink in there, but there's still like a lot of like rich blue. And then like these lighter areas are where the white and the really light colors are. So I used 4 different color dyes. I used turquoise, blue, pink, and fuchsia to try to get some nice color variation. I think these turned out pretty okay. I wouldn't feel super comfortable selling them because if you were like, hey, I need 2 hanks, I'd be like, these 2 are pretty different. I don't know if. So we'll get to a point where we're better, but we're not there yet. And then this is the other hank. This one, for some reason, I just didn't want to hank up nicely. But yeah, so this is the other second batch. You can see a lot more pink, a lot more white. Making sure it didn't bleed onto the white was a really important factor for me. So I think I finally got kind of more of the color variation that I wanted in this. I'm going to work up some things with this yarn just to see what I like, what I don't like, and how it works up. The yarn is fairly rough. The yarn was fairly rough to begin with. It didn't change at all. One thing that this hasn't done is gone through the washing and drying process. I obviously rinsed the dye after I was finished dyeing it, but it hasn't gone through a hand wash, which is probably what I'll recommend for the dyeing process, even though the original yarn you can machine wash. For me, it's just important to make sure that I don't wash out all the colors, so we're probably going to keep it with a hand wash. But yeah, so these are my first attempts at dyeing yarn. I had a fun time doing it, even though I was very anxiety ridden to do it. So yeah, that's what that is. Okay. So now that I showed you my hand-dyed yarn, I think it's pretty fun. Not bad for a first attempt. So the next thing I got is something to make double mastectomy pillows. I got 2 color options because I realized that the majority of people who get the get a double mastectomy are people who have either breast cancer. So I got this pink with like a lot of different pink and purple hearts. Cute. And then I got this rainbow pattern that also has hearts on it. For me, it's hard with both of the Joannes that the Joanne I normally go to, and then the one that I went to that day. They didn't have like a ton of options, or if they had rainbow options, it was very I don't know, it wasn't the vibe I was looking for. So I think what I'm gonna do once I start creating these pillows is I'm going to have like a constantly rotating options of colors so that they're not so that I don't have to try to buy the same fabric again and again and again. Because I think that's really difficult because ordering online, you have to order a certain minimum. And you never know what's going to be in store because my stores aren't updating. Hey, Crystal. So here, you've seen my yarn, but you haven't seen it all. So most of them are like mostly blue, but some of them we get some good pink variation and white in there. My second batch I did a lot better. The first batch I just totally, like I said, my brain melted. But yeah, so this is the yarn. It's not very soft, but it was good to get some practice out of. This is Lily Peaches and Cream. This is my first batch, and you can see that the pink is limited. It's mostly blue, and the colors aren't as saturated because I was trying to figure out how much dye to use. So this is, again, my first batch, and we just don't see a lot of pink. So, practice makes perfect, right? And then I talked about the fabric for my mastectomy pillows, which I'm very excited about. So now I am going to work on my commission that I'm working on. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, once I start getting more consistent results, I might start selling if anyone's interested. I just think it's about having options in those color variations that's more important to me than anything else. So this is what the, it kind of looks like a jock strap of sorts. It might as well be, honestly, but this is going to be a skeleton top, and this loop is for the arm. It's pretty big on me, but I don't know how it'll be on my client. I'm going to do like a custom fitting so that everything fits really nicely on her. So working on that, I'm just going by the measurements that the pattern tells me, because that's a good place to start, and then we can get to like kind of refining it. So what are you working on today, Crystal? I'm using my 3.5 millimeter hook, and I'm using Caron 1 pound yarn because I think it's a perfect color for like bones and skeletons and stuff. Shawl that might we can like it using that yarn. Oh, nice. Honestly, it's so pretty. I love it. I have this like cold infusions tea, which you shouldn't have to add heat to, but I forgot that I usually add 2 bags instead of 1 because I like strong tea. So it's like super weak. Yeah, I have the that puzzle yarn I was saying that it looks like. Oh my gosh, I've been so clumsy. I spilled my coffee all over my table and some yarn today, and I'm just, oh my gosh. So here's what I have left of that puzzle yarn. Like, doesn't it look super similar? Although, like, yours obviously has way more color variations, shorter stripes, everything like that. I kind of have like a love-hate relationship, and maybe not hate even, but I have kind of a tumultuous relationship with Premier Yarns. Because, like, so one, if you buy off of Premier, generally it's fairly expensive, and like shipping is expensive. Their sales aren't great. And then every time I use Premier Yarn, the yarn barf is ridiculous. So I'm like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, maybe they're not made to be center pulls, but I'm just so used to using center pulls that it's just natural for me to just go inside and scoop out the guts. But yeah, it's like, it's always a pain in the ass. So I'm always like, what am I doing wrong? But now that I've realized that it's pretty much every Premier yarn, I'm like, okay, probably not me. I do like that Premier does sell at other vendors. Like Premier Yarn tends to be, if they offer it. Yeah, exactly. Um, like they do sell like puzzle yarn and a couple other Premier options at like Walmart, and that's like the cheapest place you're gonna get it. Yeah. I know that, like, so for me, like, one of the things that kind of annoyed me, like, right off the bat is I ordered a bunch of a couple colors, and I can't do Pound of Love. Like, I'd rather do Care on 1 pound any day because it's solid. Like, it's thick, but it's solid. A little stiff, but like, Pound of Love is just like, no. I have a ball of Pound of Love that got so tangled that now I just use it for stuffing. Like I can't untangle it. It's not possible. Like I kind of want to just burn it in a fire, but like, and it's like a pumpkin spice color. It's so pretty, but then like it just sucks to deal with. Also, I when I first started, I was like, oh, the most value, I'll get the biggest ball. Also, I have no idea how much yarn I'll need for this project, and then I started running out of space really quickly because they take up so much room. So I've been a little better at estimating how much yarn, and really not just estimating, but like also knowing how easy it is to get more of the same yarn and make sure it's a pretty similar dye lot. I know some people don't mess with dye lots, and half the time I don't care, but it really just depends on the project because sometimes you can really tell and you're like, wow. It does feel nice, but it's deceptive. Yeah, I want to like it more than I do, but I just don't. It like I remember talking about how upset I was with it, and someone on the stream was like, "Yeah, I call it Pound of Hate, and now I can't." It's a yarn barf now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I the Pound of Love I have, like I said, I just like cut chunks of it off and use it as stuffing for certain things. Like if someone wants a heavy filled packer, usually I fill um the scrotum with Pound of Love. Just that one color. The other ones I think I'm gonna pull from the outside from now. I hate that though because I don't really have any yarn balls or yarn bowls that are big enough to accommodate that. I mean, I have some kind of crate like things, but who knows? Yeah, I wonder if it's how they wind it or something. If they don't wind it with the intention of it being a centerfold or something. But yeah, definitely some feedback for Premiere, which they're definitely listening because I'm a super popular YouTuber. But that's probably a good idea. Have them wind it in a different way. I don't know if you saw, but I have a Dolly Parton cup today. It's a little hard to see on camera because of the reflection. There we go. But you can kind of see. It looks a little demonic on camera, if I'm being honest. But it's way cuter in person. And I got this at Walmart a while ago, a couple months ago, so I'm not sure if they still had it. But in the party section where they have all of the party favors and party decorations, they had a whole section for Dolly Parton. And they had like plastic plates and like paper cups or maybe not plastic plates, paper plates and paper cups and stuff like that, banners. Um, and I just was like, this cup is something I need in my life. So I bought it. I'm pretty obsessed with it. This is my first time actually using it because I know it looks like or may look like I have a lot of cups that I go through up here. She's a great vibe. She's amazing. She's so amazing. I think she just seems like the sweetest person in the world. Um, and of course, I love her music. Yeah, great sense of humor. Just like, she just seems great. I've never been to Dollywood, which makes me sad because it's just over in Tennessee. But even though North Carolina and Tennessee are side by side, it would still take probably like I think last time I checked to like Nashville, which I don't know how close Dollywood is to that. I think it was gonna be like 7 or 8 hours driving. Part of it is that North Carolina is very long, and the other part is that there's a mountain range that kind of goes right in between North Carolina and Tennessee. So that takes a while to drive up and down and around. I remember one time I drove to Indianapolis for a gaming convention, and we took the way that avoided the toll roads, and it took us in the Tennessee mountains, and I guess that they're the Appalachian Mountains. But it was such oh my gosh, it was so nerve wracking because I don't really drive on mountains that much. I live in a pretty like I mean, there's like rolling hills here, but it's not anything like that where like people like burn out their brakes and they have like a bunch of like emergency exits for 18 wheelers so that they don't like lose control of their speed and stuff like that. Can I be honest? I didn't know Tennessee touched North Carolina. That's okay. That's fine. I mean, you're in Chicago, so it's you know, I don't know what touches Illinois, so I'm pretty sure a state that starts with an I does because there's a bunch of I states, but I don't know which one. Mm, yeah, I'm not gonna make a fool out of myself, but I don't know. Um, that reminds me, I watched this video that was really funny. Like it was funny, like to me as a Southerner, but like I guess like maybe I don't know what people think of the South. Hey, Kira. I don't know what people think of the South when they do think of the South. Like, I know that there's a lot of like conceptions. Oh, you're sick. I didn't see that you're sick. Oh my gosh, I hope you start to feel better. Oh, I hate that for you. Oh, well, I hope you can get comfortable um, and start to feel a little bit better. I'm sorry about that. Um, but I know that like there's a lot of like political and like education like expectations for the South and stuff like that. And like some of those aren't far off for certain people, and some of them are very far off for certain people. So it's those types of stereotypes. I can somewhat understand where you're coming from, right? But then, so this person was talking about like it was like five southern accents, like southern U.S. Um, accents that you won't be able to understand. And I felt like that already set the stage for being like very weird. It just was like a weird vibe. So this person is from the UK, and so he expressed that he knows little to none about the southern United States. So basically, anything that if us in the States would consider the South, he considered the Deep South. He called North Carolina the Deep South. I think he called Kentucky the Deep South. Like, which like geographically it's not, but there's like if you go to like Appalachia area, you know, people have strong accents and stuff like that. Um, so he was like, he kept on mentioning that like, oh, if you go to the deep south, you're going to see like an alligator, like on the side of the road or like on a leash, like people have pet alligators, and I was like, what? Like here in North Carolina, that's not a thing. I would say for the majority of states in the South, that is not a thing. But like there were some like really strange conceptions or misconceptions that I was just like, what? Like, so first of all, he was like, he mentioned like twice about the alligator thing, right? And like alligators, like I mean, there are alligators in like like ponds or something like that, but like not like just crossing the street. There's not an overabundance in North Carolina where they can just like walk around. That's not normal here. So he commented, if you haven't seen like an alligator walking around on a leash, like you might not know these things about North Carolina, or not North Carolina, about the Deep South, and like maybe that is more normal in the Deep South, but his region of what he circled in the Deep South is not the Deep South. So, and I don't know why I got on this tangent, but I've been dying to talk to someone about it. Um, and so he started he started going with certain clips of people talking, and most of the people I could understand. Even though I don't think I have a strong accent, I know a lot of these people, and I can kind of identify the particularities of certain accents, right? And so I can be like, oh, that's probably like Alabama area or something like that, um, just based on kind of the way that they talk. Uh, but you know, sorry, I did a lot of like cleaning outside yesterday, and my allergies are acting up. So if I'm clearing my throat like about 100,000 times, do apologize. I definitely like overworked my legs the other day by having to get to a doctor's appointment. I literally walked over an hour trying to find this, and I speed walked and I ran. Like, literally ran. Which, you look at me, I don't run. But anywho, but yeah, he just said some kind of things that were pretty, like, silly. I don't know, they seem silly to me because I am a southerner. Hey, Mello. Oh, no need to apologize. You're welcome to come when you can and when you want to, and if you can't make it, you can't make it. I haven't done a lot of streaming. Oh, heads up, if you want to enter the giveaway, tomorrow is the last day. 2/2/24 at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to enter, please do make sure you watch the whole video so that you can know the right comment to put. So yeah, so he was like referring to everything as the Deep South, and then like, so he would have these clips, and one person was like, yeah, like, the people think I fake like my accent, but this is real, like, this is what I actually sound like. And some of the dialects are hard to understand. I absolutely understand that. And I think that that goes for a lot of places, but because there are so many pockets in the South that sound very different. Like in North, people are like, what's a North Carolina accent sound like? And I'm like, it really depends on like what county you're in, what city you're in. Like, it really, really depends. So I can definitely understand that. I'm not saying that they're all easy to understand, but just how he set the stage was just very like, these people talk in like such a weird way. And so I kind of got like a weird vibe. But anyways, so this person was like, this clip of this person talking, they were like, people think I'm faking about my accent because it's so strong, but like, this is just what I have. And they said, this isn't like Steel Magnolias. I'm not here doing like a fake accent. So then the person who did the video pulled up a clip of Steel Magnolias, and like, if you're Southern like me, like like I don't think all the accents sounded as off as this one did, but like the clip that they showed, like, it was very clearly not a real accent to me. And he was like, they sound the same to me. I don't know the difference. And it's like, okay, well, being Southern can be like a superpower where I can understand different dialects. Now, there is one thing that I can't understand, and that's if people have like mumbly, or like they kind of just like string things together and talk very fast. But I think that's mostly due to my ADHD, where I kind of need time to digest like each word. Even if it's not a lot of time, but if someone talks really fast, I'm like, what? But that's any place, right? But it was just very like, I feel like if you're going to try to post an educational video, maybe you should be a little educated about it. You know what I mean? And I think also it kind of brings to light. So I am crocheting or crocheting, as the army of weirdos and Crystal and I like to joke about. So I'm doing a kind of skeleton rib cage type of thing for a commission. Let me pull up the yarn that I hand dyed so that you can see what it looks like. Okay. So some of these look better than others. It depends on which dye lot this was in. So this was my second dye job, and I feel like you can see more pink, more white, and so these are trans colors. I really like this side. That's fun. I tried to do a little speckling. I just played around. I had some great recommendations from Daniel at Paw Ply Yarns. You can see this has a lot less pink. This was my first one, and I kind of messed up the dye order, which got really weird. And this is the second lot, so there's a lot more pink and white. So this doesn't feel great. This is a very cheap cotton. And I dyed cotton specifically because I wanted to do like festival wear and also packers. So once I get more consistent, maybe we'll see me sell these. It all depends on what the people want. Um, but yeah. So this is the commission I'm doing. And not only am I doing the rib cage, but I'm doing kind of like guts hanging out and stuff like that. Super excited about that. Um, but yeah, I think it's like it's hard being in the South because people have a lot of expectations for how stupid and ignorant and conservative or whatever that you might be. The giveaway, can you at least put a ball of the yarn? So I can't. So I promised that I would just do the do the uh, do the hooks, and so it's a very different shipping price to put in a skein of yarn, a hank of yarn, and then also I want to do kind of my own quality control where I can see how the yarn looks worked up and see what needs to be improved. So I probably will not be giving away any of this yarn because I want to see how things look worked up. But that's a great idea. Um, Unfortunately, the thing is, like with the hand-dyed yarn, is that it's also pretty expensive to make for me as an upfront cost. So I likely will never give this yarn. I will sell it, but I will not. Uh, I don't think I'll ever have the resources to just give away the yarn. But if you want to try making your own yarn for your own needs, all I did was I just followed some YouTube videos on how to dye cotton, and that really helped. So, um, if you want just like a hank or two for yourself, that's the easiest way to do it. If you want to like mass produce it, that's when it kind of gets more expensive. Um, and then I got to make sure that it washes and dyes correctly because washes and dries correctly because um, that's important. Thank you for the compliment, though. I didn't even like see that end part. Thank you for the compliment from from everyone who's given me one. That is really nice. I really didn't know what I was doing. I talked to Daniel from Popeye Yarns about the dyeing process, and he was like, "Just have fun, just like go for it, and don't be afraid to like kind of fall on your face." And that's what I did. How long did it take to make them? So, not including drying time, maybe like a couple hours, just in the process of how. Yeah, I'm really interested to see the color layout. Um, yeah, so it really depends on the supplies you have. I kept on making a mess and getting dye everywhere, which I talked to Crystal about. Um, but yeah, I got dye everywhere, so I kept on having to stop to clean up. So I think it took maybe like a couple hours, and then I had to split because the supplies I got didn't have a whole lot of room to do all four hanks at the same time, which is good because then I got two different uh, practice dyes out on one. So I used a cone of peaches and cream from Walmart, and then I um, used my yarn swift to split it up into 100-gram uh, uh, hanks, and then I dyed it. I dyed two at a time. And so that process is more about space and what I had. Dyeing really doesn't take that long, but it is a very messy process. So you kind of need to have the space, the access to like water, all of that stuff to do it. This dye doesn't need to be heat set or anything like that, but you have to. So for me, what I had to do is I had to, because it was out on like the floor at Walmart, I had to. So I spent some time washing and you know the the yarn, making sure that if there were any waxes or anything built up on the yarn, that I could help remove that. Now, Daniel recommended that I don't buy yarn off the shelf, but for me, it was important to get a white, and a lot of the undyed cotton that's out there is not white. It's like a cream color. It's very similar to this. And there's no way to like lighten the yarn. I was like, maybe bleach would work, but then it would remove the other colors, so I have to be really careful about that. So I washed the yarn, and then I did a 20-minute, I think, soak in soda ash, which comes with most tie-dye kits, but you can buy it individually for very cheap. And this helps the color really bind with the cotton, and also helps the colors be more vibrant. If you don't use soda ash, your colors will wash right out. In my experience dyeing shirts and stuff, the color just washes right out. Like it won't last one wash. Uh, so, um, so I did that, let it sit in there. You want to have warmer water, and then I did the dyeing process where I used a disposable kind of like cake pan or something like that, and dyed the yarn in there. You had to mix the dyes. For me, I had to make sure that the dye amount in the bottle wasn't using all the dye color, because the dye is already set inside the bottles. So I had to like extract about half of it and put it in like a sticky note envelope to preserve it. So yeah, that was a little bit of a hassle. Um, and then I mixed up the dyes, started dyeing. The dyeing process is very quick, or it can be longer depending on how thorough you are, what materials you use, whether you're pouring it on, whether you're hand painting it on, all of that stuff, speckles, and make chicken butter. It's so good. Um, what's chicken butter? I'm not really eating chicken right now, so I'm not even sure I would. I mean, I'm sure it would taste different, but yeah. If you send me a link, I'll check it out. Um, so let's see. Yeah, and then was the process of, so you have to let the dye sit for, I think they said 6 to 8 hours, maybe it was 8 to 10. I think it was 6 to 8. You have to let it sit, and while you're doing that, your other yarn that you didn't dye is just sitting there with soda ash, but you've taken it out. You like hearing about the process? Okay, I thought it was really boring, so I'm thankful to hear that. Thank you very much. Um, so, um, so yeah, it was 6 to 8 hours, um, and then I tried to find different ways of drying it. Now, there are some videos out there about like build your own DIY yarn drying racks. Um, And I was like, okay, well, if I get serious, I can build one of those. But right now, I'm not that serious, so I'm just gonna try to use what I had. So I started by using, those, they're like, it's like bars that are raised up. I think they're for like like cooling your cookies when they come out of the oven, so there's airflow underneath as well as over top. But I set that over like a cookie sheet and I let them dry like that. Um, it took a long time to dry. Um, and uh, and even when I had finished my second batch, they hadn't dried, but they had dried enough where I don't think you can make it out of cardboard, honestly, because it's wet, and when cardboard gets wet, it crumbles. Um, so yeah, I don't. So the one that I saw that you can make is out of PVC pipe and then like some like netting and stuff. Yeah, so when I first tried dyeing yarn, I did acrylic paint, like watered down acrylic on acrylic yarn because that's one of the only ways that you can dye the yarn, right? And so I did these ones where they would just hang, um, and uh, uh, and also I kind of used like the two ends, and then it kind of like hung like that. But like the color, because the color was bleeding so bad, all of the color from the ends just bled into the center. So I didn't want to dry it like that, so I wanted everything to be perfectly flat. So that's where I kind of was like, I don't know. And there are some options for like, I saw some different like shoe racks and stuff like that that might be good. So I might like look into like, you know, it depends on how much I want to dye at once. Um, yeah, for me, because like all that color will drip into the center. But it might be different for wool because wool is a little bit more grabby with the color. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, the one I saw that was made was like 4 tiers. Okay, yeah, Orange is the New Black is fun. I don't know if I would watch it with my parents, but Orange is the New Black is fun. It's a fun show. Um, Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm planning. So yeah, they did 4 tiers, and then they had like a net. I don't know what they used for a net, but I was thinking just like cutting up. Thank you, Mello. I appreciate that. I was thinking of just taking, those like laundry, like the drawstring like laundry bags that they have at like the dollar store. I was thinking of just using that and stretching that along the length of the bottom so it can still breathe. Um, because, uh, the faster it dries, the easier it's going to be for a number of reasons. And we don't want anything to get moldy because getting that smell and the mold out is very difficult. The acrylic did take a lot longer than the cotton to dry, but that's because I didn't like check in on it and spread it and let it try to air out. I just kind of kept it in the hang, just like um, so I've learned some things, but um, if I want to like make more, I'll probably have to do a little bit more. But yeah, so I think my next dye will I'll do a non-binary one. I can't do the ace one because it doesn't have, I don't have gray. And this might sound stupid, but I don't know how to make, I have, I have, I have black, but I don't have gray, and I don't know how to make gray. I guess I could water down the black a lot, but I'm just afraid that it will look black, you know. Also, I think black is also not flagged, so I don't know how I would get like a nice, good differentiation between the colors. So that will require a special purchase. Now, I did find some dye, just different dye colors, which honestly would be way easier to keep track of than the process I have now. But I found different dye colors on Amazon. They're like the Jascard or whatever it is. Jacquard, I don't know. Jacquard. Um, and they were like, I think $6 to $8 for like 2 to 3 ounces. And they had some really beautiful colors. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. So Daniel said just use tie-dye kits, and like honestly, like those are really great for like testing yarn, um, dyeing and things like that. Yeah, I went straight to Daniel before I bought anything because I was like, I don't know if tie-dye yarn is like the right thing. It dyes shirts, but like, so I did talk to him, but like he because he primarily uh dyed uh different different fibers and had to use acid based dyes. He didn't work a lot with cotton, as far as I understand and remember. Yeah, so I think it's great to like try out things, or if you just need a couple hints of something. But if you need more, because like the thing is, a lot of the tie dye kits they don't sell the individual colors by themselves, and if they do, they're all in like pre-packaged amounts and stuff like that, and so you still have to do all the measuring and stuff like that. So it's a trial and error process, but I'm having fun doing it. It because it is so much work, put this here, put this there, whatever. I do think that it is, it's I can't think even like how right now I could like mass produce like to any level, um, these different things. So we shall see. Also, I think it would be cool to do like a fan. You basically become a chemist. Exactly. Um, I think it'd be cool to do a fan inside the drying rack to help it dry faster. Because it really is just like a freaking stinking long process to dry them. So yeah. But I think I'm gonna get something to eat. It's a little past lunchtime, but I think I'm gonna get something to eat. I will let you all go. We are making our way through the armhole, and then it really, honestly, at first I couldn't unsee a thong, and now I can't unsee a jockstrap. Honestly, this might be the way to make a jockstrap. Now that I think about it. But I love you all. It was great hanging out with you, and I will talk to you later.